welcome to another real estate update for the Columbus, Ohio market. I'm Ryan Deeter with Key Realty, and I'm on the road today in Asheville, North Carolina, at one of my favorite spots here in Whole Donuts, grabbing coffee and donuts. If you have a chance to visit Asheville, make sure you stop here. But just wanted to make sure we got the market update in a timely fashion as they just came out with the numbers. Don't want to keep you waiting for that. As we just got the numbers for April, and we're now headed into the end of May into June. So I wanted to kind of just to bring you up to speed what's going on in the market here in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm going to pull my screen up to share it, and so you can see it for yourself, and we can chat about it then. Hang tight here, and we'll do that.
All right, as you can see here, we got the April 2023 numbers pulled up. And of course, sales are down. If you've been following along these at all, you've been seeing since summer of last year, 2022, that sales have dropped quite a bit. It's not a huge deal to the consumers. Basically, that's really hurting the industry. People in the industry, working in the industry, obviously less sales mean less business going around. What I want to focus on for consumers is the supply and demand side. You would think this means there'd be more supply, which, you look down at months of supply of inventory, it is on the up. But the problem with this is it's a little deceiving because last few years, depending on the time of week it is, supply could be, plummeted, but then yet the weekend things pop up and then you have sales, a lot more in contract because things hit on the weekend and they're in contract before Monday. And so the supply seems super low. You can see here the difference between supply of inventory is, 0.7 month supply and 0.9 now, which is almost 30% increase, which seems like, 30% is a lot, but at the same time, when you're so low, 30%, is not really not that drastic of a change. At the same time, we're seeing a little bit more houses fit on the market that, aren't as desirable. And so we're seeing more inventory throughout the week versus just being bought up and everything being sold really quick. And so that's really the difference. There's still not a ton of supply. We're still in a very, very shortage and supply of homes for sale, which means that there's, supply is down and demand is still strong, making, pricing stable and keeping prices from plummeting like they are in other places. And so Columbus is still a very strong market. We did see slower growth, as I've been predicting those last, really few years, that it's, at some point we have to slow down this, 10 to 20% appreciation growth. We only saw the average price come up 2%, that median price come up 4%, and the average price per square foot come up 4%. So around that 4%, 2 to 4% of growth. I like to look at all those numbers kind of as a holistic view of what's going on in the market, how homes are appreciating. And so, that's kind of a good sign that things have slowed a little bit for buyers, that things aren't going to go outrageously quick if you're not buying right now, that you're not missing out a ton. At the same time, it's still a pretty healthy appreciation growth for sellers as a whole. We've seen, average price almost 4%, 3.5% throughout the year. And we'll see some growth, these next few months. We'll see that spike up as we start to get into the summer months and go there. So, slow growth, compared to the average. National average is 5% throughout the history of the market. But we're seeing slower growth. But if you take last year's growth, last year, this is April, this is March here of last month. Let's look at last year. Let's find last year. So there we go, April 2022. Last year's we had 14.5% average price growth. So you got to look at this more as a holistic perspective and not just not just focus in on 1 year. Look at it as 14 1 year and then the other year is 16 total in 2 years. You divide, to take that in half. Columbus still has very, very strong growth. And so that's where I would say, no matter what you're trying to do in Columbus, it's still, in my opinion, a very strong market for if you're looking to sell your house and make a profit, or if you're looking to buy a home and kind of get into the market. It's still actually a decent time to do that. The interest rates are obviously the factor that's the wild card right now that makes it a little more difficult than it did years before with your monthly payment. At the same time, Columbus pricing is not running. Basically what the Fed's trying to do is keep prices from going out of control at that 14 to 20% appreciation rate like it has been the last few years. And honestly, it seems to be somewhat working here. If you look at the numbers, a 2% growth for, the average price, 2 to 4%. is a healthy growth. It's healthy for everybody in a sense of, buyers and sellers. So that sense, we're seeing that change work, and hopefully that's the Fed sees that across the board. Now, it's just kind of the average. I think Columbus is actually doing better than most cities in the country right now, if not, much better than a lot of the cities. And so hopefully the Fed sees that and says, okay, we can start, lowering, easing up on the interest rates hike and start even lower it a little bit the next few years and make it a little bit, more of a, kind of help the buyer out in a sense of monthly payment wise with those lower interest rates. So that's the good news. Hopefully that's good. The Fed sees that. Really nothing too new. Really, we've seen some new listings come up, but again, I'm still seeing just, really nice homes sell for a great price. And so, if you have a nice home and it's ready to go, move in ready, those are selling and selling quick within the first weekend, just like we've seen throughout the history. It really feels like the 2000, 15 to 19 market, that those windows where homes that are move-in, the desirable finishes that people want are selling off, selling for top dollar, over asking, multiple offers, as is, even with appraisal gaps still. Homes that need a lot of work are sitting on the market and they're getting negotiations happen, or the prices are coming down. So, and that's why it's important to understand the nuance of the market and have an expert with you, kind of help you figure out what is the necessary there, what are the finishes people are looking for, what are the things. But I also want to focus on this. This is what I showed last month as well. It shows the different areas. So this is the all broken down. So what we looked at normally is the whole MS, the whole Columbus area in LS. And this is actually, breaks down individual areas. And you can see it's just a little bit more all over the place. And a lot of this depends, we have such low inventory. And I want to point this out, and I didn't say this last week, that depending on the type of houses and the kind of houses that are on the market right now can really sway these numbers. So, you may have really nice houses for 1 month that come on the market that are beautiful homes, really desirable, everybody wants, like I talked about, 1 month, and then have homes that just aren't as nice the next month. And so it can really sway the numbers, one way or the other. And so that's why we've seen some of these drastic numbers, like for example, the Clintonville area still saw 12, almost 13% average price point growth. And then you look at Bexley, they saw 15% less. So it just depends on the style of houses, the type of houses that are being on the market. Not that Bexley's, a less desirable area in Columbus right now, but a lot of it could just be the condition of homes that happen to be on the market at that month. So that's why we want to look at the averages as well. But it's a lot of nuance to this, and not just, hey, are things growing or not? But we have so many people that aren't selling their homes right now that, when the inventory is this low, a handful of homes can make the world of difference. So that's just something I want to talk about. We still have such a low shortage of homes that I don't see prices, really showing too much more than what we're seeing now. I'm actually kind of surprised we only saw 2%. Because I'm seeing some of these homes that are still selling, in some terms and stuff that are just in things that I never thought I would ever see in my career. What happened in 2020 still happening, still lingering around in this market. So that's where I'd say once we stop seeing appraisal gaps and buyers making offers with no inspections, things like that, that's where I don't see the prices as a whole really taking a dip and going backwards, and still seeing some growth throughout this next few months. But we're heading into summer, and as we all know, summer tends to slow down. We're starting to see June hits the summer months, and you can see, going back to this chart, like I like to talk about, we see the growth in the spring, and we're not tracking. Last year was an extreme, and some flatliners, some dipping in the summer. I think the summer last year was more of a correction. We've seen the correction. Now we're seeing the slow growth and consistent slow growth from here on out.
All right. Hope you found this helpful. Again, I'm Ryan Deeter with Key Realty. If you have any questions, give me a call, shout, email me at ryandieterrealtor@gmail.com. Happy to answer any of your individual questions you may have about the real estate market in Columbus, Ohio, and get your needs taken care of. Have a great day.